everyone, this is Angela here, and today I'm going to be talking about the narcissistic personality disorder. And today's topic is going to be 31 red flags that you could be dealing with a narcissist. And this is going to be um, a deep dive into the personality traits of a narcissist. And you may be able to recognize the signs of narcissistic personality disorder and narcissism in general. So let's get started. Okay, so number one, narcissists tend to be nasty to wait staff, cashiers, maintenance people, delivery people, to the point where the narcissist treats people as if they are inferior objects. An example of this would be I knew someone who was female narcissist, or appeared to be anyway, and she had problems with her computer. Okay, and she called the tech company to fix her computer, and she became very irate and very irrational. And because sometimes it takes a bit of exploring for them to fix a computer, and she says to the tech person, um, can you transfer me to somebody who knows what they're doing? I mean, God, I like, um, transfer me to the owner of the company. Okay. So that's like one example. Um, you know, Another example would be it like out in the restaurant. You're out in the restaurant and the narcissist is there, and the narcissist blatantly berates the wait staff, saying, God, it took forever for this food to take. This place has terrible service. And you know what? You know what? The food looks lousy too. And I don't think I really want to eat here next time. So, yeah, stuff like that, you know, which is quite embarrassing. Okay, so let's go on to number two, stonewalling and forms of stonewalling. Stonewalling could be where you try to present something to the narcissist. Maybe they violated your boundaries. Maybe they did something disrespectful. Maybe they were nasty to you at an inappropriate time, stuff like that. And they turn around and they stonewall you. They either just ignore you completely and give you the silent treatment, or they can stonewall you by changing the subject. Like, I'll give you an example. I had said to my mom, why did you tell grandma, why did you do what you did um, with regard to picking a fight and ruining Easter Sunday dinner in 1995. I actually did a video on that. And, you not only hurt me, but you also hurt grandmom. And that really wasn't necessary. So she turns around and she says, oh, guess who's having a baby? So and so, I meant to tell you. See, like they changed the subject so that they don't have to be held accountable for their behavior. Yeah. So that's another example of you could be dealing with a narcissist. Next one is playing the victim martyr. Nothing is ever their fault, and they are always being persecuted by their coworkers, family, and even people that they call their friends. Um, yeah, so they're always talking about how this person didn't do something right, how somebody's attacking them. Could be a coworker who's trying to communicate with them to talk about how to work on a project, and they take it as a personal attack. They're always the victim martyr in every scenario. And, if you're a person who just met the narcissist and you don't realize that you're dealing with a narcissist, always keep in mind that there's two sides to every story. Very important here. Um, the third one is, the fourth one is acts impertinent with strangers. Okay. asking inappropriate questions in order to attempt to gain narcissistic supply. An example of this would be, let's say a male narcissist meets a female um, out in public, and they talk to strike up a conversation, and they'll ask something real impertinent, which means rudely bold. They act really rude and ask like a personal question, like, so when was the last time you had sex, or something like that. um Something like that doesn't necessarily, asking an impertinent question does not necessarily guarantee that you're dealing with a narcissist, but it is a red flag. Why would somebody ask something so personal like that? And and you'd be surprised how many people would say, "Well, I didn't. Last time I had sex, I think it was like a year ago, 2 years ago." No, it's none of their business, okay? Which would be the correct supplies. But a narcissist are rude like that. They're rude like that because it's their way to it's their way of enlisting narcissistic supply, and that's how they get you drawn in, okay? So that you know. The next one, and this one normally happens with narcissistic and histrionic personality disorder, and that is having an unnatural attachment to acquaintances and seeing relationships as more intimate than they really are. And what this means is that you just met this person, and right away, um they're acting like they've known you for years, okay? Like they're really clingy, and they act like they've known you forever. And I'm trying to think of an example of this, and it's like, um and in my mom's case, okay, my mother had a very unnatural attachment to our neighbor across the street, and she was acting like he was her son. And he was basically playing her, but they were kind of feeding off each other. So yeah, it was like she was treating him as her son and not really knowing this person. Okay. The next is love bombing with things. There's two types of love bombing. There's love bombing with things, showering a person with gifts to the point where it's inappropriate and uncomfortable. Let's say you just met somebody. It could be either a friend or it could be a romantic interest, and they're love bombing you with uh gifts, that you didn't ask for, and they're going overboard with it. Like if it's in a romantic relationship, they're love bombing you with expensive jewelry, or they could it could be like a ring, like a friendship type of ring, not an engagement ring, but a ring that signifies that you two are in a committed relationship and you just met that person, okay? Or it could be tons of flowers and different things, and you're just getting to you're just meeting this person, you don't know them, and there's no relationship established yet, but it's very fast moving, and that's the way it goes. Second form of love bombing with words, putting the victim on a pedestal and making them feel like they're the most amazing, wonderful human being that they've ever met. You're their BFF. You're the most amazing woman they ever met, and how could I have not met you before? Stuff like that. And you're beautiful, and all the stuff. You just met this person, and they're doing this to you. Big red flag. Big red flag. Okay. The next one, enmeshment. Enmeshment is where there are obvious signs of unhealthy boundaries or no boundaries at all. This is where you see somebody, you meet a narcissist, and that narcissist is very, what, quote unquote, clannish with their family. They have an unnatural attachment to their parent. They could be living with their parent at age 30, 40 and above. Like they have well enough money to be able to move out and be independent, but they're still with their parent because they just haven't, moved out and had their own life, and their mother or their father, they're always looking to their mother or to their father for their opinion on every little thing. Big red flag, okay? And also, it's just it's a turn off, okay? The next one is magical thinking and unrealistic expectations. This is where the narcissist uses no common sense in their choices, resulting in a very poor outcome. This leaves the victim baffled, not understanding why the narc didn't use common sense. An example of that is to where the narcissist just ignores their responsibilities, whether it be, their bills, um, not not managing their money correctly. That's like an element, but that does not necessarily signify narcissistic personality disorder. But that's one element of magical thinking, like unrealistic expectations. Another form of unrealistic expectations, like they expect you to drop everything and just be there to do whatever it is that they want to do at any given moment, not understanding that you got other things going on in your life. Another form of magical thinking is to where they don't think things through, they just live in the moment. And the best example that I could think of off the top of my head is on the high end of the spectrum, to where everything's going to magically be okay. I mean, let's go out and drink and drive and nothing's going to happen to me because somehow it's going to be it's not going to happen to me. Somehow it's going to be magically okay, or to the point of just not being in reality, okay, not being reality. Moving on. The next one is never holding themselves accountable, no self reflection for anything that they do. In other words, it's always somebody else's fault for their poor decisions and their mistakes. An example would be they crashed a car, okay, and it's somebody else's fault because that person allowed them to use the car that day, okay, just something like that. Never holding themselves accountable. um, Next, constantly criticizing and berating others to the point where the defamation is so bad that it's a total assassination of someone's character. This can be done overtly or covertly. When they do this covertly, they act like they are friends or on good terms with their victim, and then behind the victim's back, talk about them as if they were a horrible human being. Um, they could also do it overtly to where they talk to you as if you and call you all kinds of names. They're just nasty, just totally making you feel like like what the hell, you know, and accusing you of things and starting trouble and just, just berating you. Okay. So that's assassinating your character, okay? um Another one is inappropriate behavior, attention seeking. This is where when they don't get their way, they either rage like a lunatic or at something petty or act silly or theatric to where it's not appropriate, causing a scene for the purpose of gaining attention. This could be anywhere from loud outbursts to you know um to just stuff. Just picture a toddler, raging in front of a crowd, of people. And the narcissist, that's what narcissists do. They act like little toddlers. They have meltdowns. Okay. Lying by mission. Okay. This is where they omit critical details of any communication that they're speaking. They omit important details that will change. the meaning of what is being said, okay, to twist the truth, to make themselves out to be the victim, or when they are making someone else out to be the bad person, okay? It's like, yeah, that part is true, but you didn't explain the whole story. How many times have you been in that situation with a narcissist? Okay. Another thing that they do is they reframe the truth. This is where they tell a story which may be partly true, but it's reframed and twisted into a full-blown lie. Here, it's where they tell the whole story, but they reframe it to make it and twist it to where it's turned into a full-blown lie. Okay. They also have no humility. And they're unable to reflect on poor behavior and the hurt that they've afflicted on other people. When confronting with feelings of hurt that they've created, they will stonewall by either saying nothing, changing the subject, raging, or simply saying nothing. If you do get an apology, it will sound like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Yes, so black and white thinking, okay? First of all, narcissists suffer from black and white thinking. In their minds, people are either all good or all bad. There's no middle ground. You're either a saint or you're a whore. Okay, during the ideation stage, you're a saint. During the discard phase, you're a whore. Okay, there's no middle ground. Meaning that when they're idolizing you, you are the most wonderful being that they on God's earth. And when they're discarding you, you're nothing but trash. Okay, there's no middle ground, none, zip, zada. Triangulation. This is where the narcissist pits people against one another by secretly talking behind each individual's back, causing drama, fighting, and division among the parties involved. And what that looks like, this happens a lot of times when you have to work with a narcissist. They will smear you to one coworker and smear the coworker to you, okay? And they may lie and say things that was said that wasn't said in order to create drama and to cause fighting in a professional environment. Been there, done. Um, the next one is that narcissists tend to talk to other adults as if they were little kids, okay? Like they'll talk down to you as if you're a little kid. I'm going to give you an example of this, and this is actually quite comical. Um, a narcissist was explaining to someone where the bathroom was. Okay. And the narcissist says, well, here's what you do. You walk down the hall and you walk 5 steps forward. And then when you walk 5 steps forward, you look to your left. You'll see a black box. Now you see this card over here. You swipe over the black box. Okay. Once it's over the black box, the doorknob will move, and then you'll see that it opens. Like just ridiculousness like that. Yeah. It's been there, seen that. Okay. Um, the next one is dictatorship bullying. This does not necessarily apply to the covert narcissist, but more to the overt narcissist. They tell you how to think, what you should do, how you should behave, how you should dress, how you should talk, what you can do, what you can't do, where you should go, where you shouldn't go, and everything else in between. Okay. And should you object to that, you could be met with extreme rage. I kid you not. In other words, how dare you question them? Yeah. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is where they they constantly tell you things that happened or didn't happen, okay? And they expect you to believe it. For an example, let's say you have in your memory that you saw something that the narcissist did. The narcissist will say, I never did that. I never said that. You're crazy. I never said that. So yeah, or I never put that there. That that plant that's sitting on the table, that's been sitting there for 3 years. Gaslighting when it wasn't, okay? And they do it with such conviction, that you actually start believing it if you're around a narcissist for a long time. They also use flying monkeys. These are people who are under the spell slash deception of the narcissist, who will attack another individual in defense of the narcissist should that person criticize or question the narcissist. Okay, flying monkeys are extremely toxic and can do a lot of harm to a person's reputation and overall well-being. Most people will back away when being attacked by flying monkeys for fear of consequences. Doxing. Narcissists online can actually retaliate against their enemies by doxing individuals, resulting in loss of jobs, ruining relationships, and destroying lives. They're quite good at that. So, yeah, um, yeah. So it's just what they do. Okay. I think in today's society, it's called cancel culture. So watch what you say online, especially on Facebook and Twitter. Okay, favoritism. Narcissist will favor one child over another. This is golden child slash scapegoat. One child can do no wrong, the other child can do no right. The golden child submits to the narcissist dictatorship, never challenging the narcissist, and gets better treatment. But basically, the golden child is pretty much groomed to be a puppet for the narcissist, while the scapegoat endures all kinds of verbal and physical abuse. Keep in mind that the narcissist scapegoat roles in children can change depending on the circumstances, the situation, and of course, how the narcissist perceives it. Invalidation. Narcissists invalidate other people's feelings by acting like the abuse offenses are no big deal. They simply want you to forget it. And when you bring up how much you've been hurt by their behavior, typical response will be like, forget it, or, move on, or a classic one that my mother used to say, what are you trying to look up a dead horse's ass? Just like real sarcastic, nasty, invalidation of your feelings. Okay. Next one, paranoia. Um, some narcissists are extremely paranoid. Some believe that people are out to get them, that they are being manipulated, persecuted, and cheated. They have a serious mistrust of people when there is no evidence to the contrary. They are unable to give others the benefit of the doubt, even if that person has a solid reputation and has never done anything to justify mistrust. Okay. Yeah, narcissists are extremely paranoid. They perceive the world as a dangerous place. They perceive people as threatening. And this is the reason why they have such a defense mechanism towards other people. So yeah, paranoia is definitely a trait of narcissism. Paranoia in itself doesn't necessarily suggest narcissistic personality disorder, but when it's paranoia against everything and everybody, it's a problem. Okay. The next one, and the narcissist will insult you for no reason. This is typical behavior of the overt narcissist. I had one say to me one time, when are you going to get that hair done? It looks awful. Okay. Like just blatantly without any consideration for the other person's feelings. They'll trash you, like and have no problem with it. You know, It's just who they are. But God forbid you do it to them. Okay. Another trait is highly critical of others. A narcissist will criticize people in such a way that they assassinate someone's character and ruin their reputation and be proud of the result. Many will also do this to achieve the result of playing victim martyr. Their victimhood is nauseating to say the least. In other words, um, if you created a narcissistic injury towards a narcissist, the narcissist will smear you, trash you to everyone and anyone that they can, um, you know, like even acquaintances, just to ruin you. The next one is chronic complaining. Narcissists tend to have a negative attitude. They are good at masking it during the love bombing phase, but once the facade is lifted and you start hearing chronic complaints because they have poor communication skills and they don't have the ability to self-reflect on their own flaws and poor behavior. So, yeah, so they complain a lot. Okay, they complain a lot. A lot of people complain a lot, but it's like they want to chronically vent out their complaints and with no solutions, always blaming everything and everyone else for their outcome of their lives. Okay, the next one is exaggerates talents and or accomplishments. Narcissists appear to make a bigger deal out of situations, events, and accomplishments that they really are. And I'm going to give you an example of this. I remember my mom talking about going to her 50th class reunion that she was planning on attending, and she was saying how such a great honor it was to be celebrating her 50th class reunion. And the way she spoke about it was that it was as if it was some type of accomplishment, of some type of achievement. No, it was actually an event that was created due to a gift from God being able to live to the age of being able to celebrate her 50th class reunion. But she didn't see it that way. So yeah, I would say that was quite an exaggeration. Um, the next one is word salad, ambiguous communication. An example of this is um, not providing specific details when you're communicating with someone, um, which the result can cause mad confusion. And the example of that would be the story that I said about my son and the roller skating, and like how I couldn't drop off my grandson because I didn't know what was going on. He didn't provide it. He was very ambiguous in his communication. I thought that he was at work. Here, he was at a wedding, and it started a big fight. And so yeah, they're ambiguous in their communication. Okay, the next one is ghosting without discard. This is a manipulation tactic that the narcissist uses after they know that they have you under their control. They'll begin to ghost you by not honoring their commitments and or engagements. For example, say that narcissist had made plans to attend an event with you. You've made it clear that this event is very important to you, and that you need to show up and you need to show up on time. It could be um, a 50th anniversary party, let's say, where you played an important role in the attendance of that party. Let's say you were a guest speaker and you depended on them to show up. Um, and they didn't, and they did it to upset you, to cause chaos. And that's just what they do. The narcissist assures that he's going to be there or she's going to be there, and then at the last minute simply not show, not call, not cancel, but simply ghost you. Then after after some time has passed, after the event is over, the narcissist will reappear, making an inexcusable excuse, saying that they've overslept or just expect you to accept that they didn't show and carry on as if it was no big deal, like there's no apology, no emotion in it, or it could be anything. Um, they also use ghosting as a tactic to punish you, okay, to punish you. Like they're pissed off at you, and they know that you planned something and you expect them to be there, you need them to be there for whatever reason, and they just ghost you. So that is the 31 examples that suggest narcissistic personality, and these are the personality traits of a narcissist. So I wanted to get this out there, and you know, so I'm hoping that this helps somebody today. And if I missed anything, please leave a comment below. Thanks and have a good day. I'll catch you at the next video. Take care.